Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Carnivorous Grandma Speaks, Women of Wisdom series. This is Robin Heron, your carnivorous grandma here, and I'm very excited to have with me tonight Felicia Humphrey. Welcome, Felicia.
Thank you.
Before we get into it, I am going to pull up my scripture here. I should have had it ready, but yes, I'm behind schedule. So Proverbs 14 and 1. Let me just find it. Proverbs 14 and 1. And this is the King James Version. It says, "Every wise woman buildeth her house, but the foolish plucketh it down with her hands." And I actually love this scripture, and I read it at every opportunity, particularly on the Women of Wisdom series, because I'm so excited and thankful for my women friends that are out here that are choosing a proper human diet, something within the proper human diet spectrum. And I really feel like we are building our physical house. And, as we have been going along, the things that we've been learning in regards to health and nutrition, when we found out that that was wrong, we actually decided to start building. So I'm really excited about that scripture. I always read it, and I love that one so much. So, again, welcome to Felicia. I'm so glad that you're here. You're one of the very first persons who really reached out to me when I started my YouTube channel. And you
Okay.
made me feel so welcome in the carnivore space. You got my email, you emailed me and told me a little bit about yourself. And so I really wanted to have you on, and I'm so grateful to you for coming on and being on the show. So can you just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay. Um, just want to say hello to all the people who've come in so far. Thank you guys for coming in. I appreciate you. Um, my name is Felicia Humphrey, and um, I'm in Alabama. My YouTube channel is really about my day-to-day life and how I just cope with the stresses of living. And those ways for me are art and crafting, gardening. I say playing with string because I sew and I knit and I crochet and I do all of the things. um, and some writing and other things, but really it's just sharing my life and how I deal with life on a daily basis through those outlets of mine. um, that's me in a nutshell. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, um, I'm a sister, I'm an auntie. All those
Many
things. Hey
kids do you
Mike.
have? How
i
many
have
kids do
two
you have?
I have
Okay.
2 kids with my husband, and then we have a blended family. I have 2 additional kids um, from that he had his kids. They're older, and I have 4 grandkids from the older ones.
Nice. I have 11 grandkids, and having grandkids is absolutely amazing. As a matter of fact, when we get done here, I'm going to go pick up about 4 of them and bring them home with
Woo!
me tonight. I usually take them to church. So they come and spend the night on Saturday night, and then we go to church on Sunday morning. And then they try to convince my husband to take them to someplace for dinner. So yeah, so I see so many people coming in from your chat, and I just love this. Thank you so much, you guys, for all the support.
Thank
Um,
you guys for being here.
yes, that's fantastic. So, I did check out your channel, and we'll bring your channel up at the end. And I loved you were the one that I watched. I think it's like your introduction video
The
where you
one
were
where I'm
actually
drunk.
drawing
Yeah.
a purple witch, I think it was, and that
Yep.
was just
Yep.
so good, and just freehanding it. So you're really good at
Yeah.
it too. That's awesome.
Okay,
Yes.
wait a minute. Disclaimer. Yes, I do draw freehand. But that in that particular picture, the pictures are is drawn already. I just lightly erase it when I color it in. So I'm not drawing it in the moment. It's already drawn.
Oh,
It's like, if I could draw in the moment, single lines and no erasers like that, that would be great. But no.
yes. The magic of YouTube, right? It was
Right.
so good though. I was just totally engrossed. Like, wow, what is that going to turn out to be? Because it was a lady with a moon on her head, and it looked like she had on. Oh, it was so good. I enjoyed it very much. So, if you guys have not seen Felicia's
Hey,
channel,
Rhonda.
you can go and check it out. Nightbot has put up the address before I could even get to it. So
Oh,
check
I'm
out her
sorry.
channel.
I didn't turn my
Very
night bot off.
awesome. Oh, no, that's fine. Thank you, Nightbot.
Nightbot can get a
So,
little bit aggressive there, so sometimes you have to put Nightbot to sleep.
oh, okay. I don't even know what that is. So I'm going to have to find out about that later.
Oh, okay, yeah. Hey,
All right.
Rebecca,
So
thanks for
Rhonda's here.
coming
Hey, Rhonda.
in.
And then Sandra's here. Her channel is, let me pull up the banner here
Sandra?
at FR Humphrey.
Oh,
F period, R period, Humphrey. So on YouTube.
oh, okay.
So thank you guys for being here. We really do appreciate it. So I want to just talk a little bit about, your health and wellness journey, your dietary journey, kind of where you've come from and where you are now, and what are you doing with your dietary pattern?
Okay, so um, I've been obese my entire adult life. And I've been up and down on diets, and I've tried every diet. Well, not every diet, but most of the diets that are out there, I've tried. The big names, the little names, um, Weight Watchers, Physicians Weight Loss, all of those things. Back in the day, I did Atkins. Um, I've done low carb, low fat, the whole nine. And I've done diet and exercise. I've always been active in my life. Not well, I was a gym rat for a while, but not, um, but active in my life. But anyways, um, but I've just never been able to get the weight off and keep it off. And so with over the last, I would say it's been probably 5 or 6 years now. I really have, I've lost about 5 years ago, I lost about 60 pounds. And um, I didn't, what is it? Losing, I don't know. I have this mindset about losing weight, and people go, "Well, how did you do it? Did you do it in a healthy way?" No, I didn't do it in a healthy way. What I did was healthier than having the weight on, but it was not a healthy way because I simply lost the weight by not eating.
Mhm.
That is not a healthy way to lose weight, but I lost it and I kept it off. But then this year in July, I decided that I needed to go on a diet because I was going on a cruise. And this is crazy. I know some of y'all have heard this before, but I was going on this cruise and, oh, hey, African and Dreaming, thank you for coming in. I was going on a cruise and I said, I want to lose some weight because, it's getting on the end of the year and I don't want to go on a cruise and eat, all this food and gain all this weight. And then at the end of the year, be heavier than I was last year. My thing is when I roll around January, I don't want to be heavier than I was last
Right.
January. So I'm planning ahead. This is because I'm a planner.
Mhm.
That's what I do. I'm a planner, planning ahead. So I'm going to go on this diet before this cruise and lose this weight. So when I go on the cruise, I can eat what I want to eat. That was my plan. And so I said, I know what I have to do, and I have to cut back on. I need to cut back on the sugar. I'm eating way too much sugar. I need to cut back um, on my carbs because my doctor said to me, you really need to cut back on your carbs. And this is what my primary care physician said. You need to cut back on your carbs. And I was like, okay, I'll cut out the bread. And she said, you probably should eat less bread. And I was like,
Mm.
I don't really eat a lot of bread, but I'm gonna cut out the bread. And so I said, I'm gonna cut out grains. I'm just gonna cut out grains out of my diet. Now, this is before I I even heard about carnivore, but I decided I was going to cut out grains. I was going to cut out sugar, and that was pretty much my plan. Well, within 2 weeks, my blood sugar normalized. Within 2 weeks of cutting out sugar and cutting out grains, my blood sugar normalized. And I won't say that my diabetes is cured or reversed. I would say it's in remission because I know if I turn around and start eating that way again, it's going to come right back. But um, as of right now, my A1C has dropped from over 6 to 5.5. So,
Wow.
and this is just since last July. I also lost some weight in the process. I've lost about 30 pounds. Since then. And since then, I've tweaked things a little bit because I also am not eating starchy vegetables. I'm not eating a lot of. Um, I only eat fruit on occasion. I only eat certain vegetables on occasion, and so I'm basically carnivore, um, with a few cheat meals here and there.
Let's
I
just
don't
call it ketovore.
uh,
Ketovore.
call it, well, I don't like to call it keto or ketovore because I don't count my carbs.
Yeah, no.
I don't count my
Mm,
carbs.
me either.
So I don't
Right.
know on a given day how many carbs I have. I don't want to call it carnivore because I do eat other things other than meat. But it is low carb and it's way lower than I was eating before. It's definitely low
Yeah.
carb. Um, but yeah, so that's kind of how I got here. Now, when um, I started my little diet. I called it my cruise diet. Everybody, all my people who watch me on my live stream know I called it my cruise diet. When I started my cruise diet, I started looking on YouTube for people who were doing, dieting and who were doing low carb, who were doing keto, those kinds of things. And one of the very first people that I came across was Amanda from Carnivorous Me, and her story is amazing. And that's when I actually started thinking about um, eating carnivore, eating the proper human diet, and hearing about the proper human diet. Because I hadn't heard those terms before, and then once I heard about Amanda, then I heard about Homestead How, and once you hear about Carrie from Homestead How, you are definitely in the weeds.
Yeah.
You are on a very slippery slope at that point, and so then I was pretty much all in.
That's awesome. That is awesome. I love Amanda, and I hope one day to get her on the show. Her story
Amanda's
is
amazing. Her story is
amazing.
amazing.
Yeah.
Um, Very inspiring. I watch her all the time because she just I love there's little things that Amanda says I think she drinks either coffee or Diet Coke or something like that, and she'll go, you know, 80%, you know,
Yeah.
90%. If I
Yeah.
can do it right 90% of the time, that's way better than I was doing before. It's a massive improvement over
Right.
what I was doing before. So yeah, I have a
Mhm.
Diet Coke. Okay. And I think about
Right.
that sometimes, it's like I don't eat perfectly. I don't, I'm not, you know, I'll have some carbs. I've had some carbs today. I had some strawberries today. But I didn't eat the whole package of strawberries. You know,
Right.
I didn't have
Yeah.
strawberry ice cream, whipped cream on top.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So I was listening to a live stream last night, and I really am trying to feel this philosophy of not being so dogmatic.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I feel like we're very passionate about this way of eating because we know the benefits, right? We know that you can cure your diabetes or put it in
Right.
remission,
Put it in
right?
remission anyway. Right. And I
You
mean, it's not,
can,
it's,
yeah,
I understand. I want to do it right. But I know that if I give myself the all or nothing, if I put myself in that all or nothing mindset, I'm going to fail. I'm going to
Mhm.
fail because I will say to myself, um, you can't do this. It's too hard. It's not sustainable. You can't do it. And so I might as well just eat whatever I want.
Right. Yep.
And
I get that.
that's the path I don't want to go down. I don't
Mhm.
want to go down that path because I can do it if, I can do this 90%. I can do it 90%.
Mhm.
I might not be able to do it
No.
100%, but I know I can do 90%. And where
Yes.
I'm from, 90% is an A.
It's an A.
It's a A. It's
That's
not even
absolutely
just
right.
passing. It's a A.
Right. Yep. That's right. Do you know Russ at Homesick Buckeye?
Mm-hmm.
He's a 90%
Exactly.
person. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I'm an all or nothing person, but that's my personality.
That's the personality that I have. I'm one of those. I got to be the top of the class.
Mhm.
I gotta get. It has to be perfect.
Yeah.
But I have to remind myself, and this is it's a saying they say it's from
We're
Nassau or
having a
something like
little bit
that.
of issue hearing you. It's like your mic is going in and out a little bit.
Okay, let me see if I
Okay,
can
that's better. It sounds
just
better now.
okay.
Yes.
Um, but you've heard the saying, "Better is the enemy of good enough."
Yes.
I
Yeah.
have to remind myself, better is the enemy of good enough, because otherwise, if you strive for perfection, but you accept what you can do within the time and the resources you have.
Yes.
So,
So it's not magic wants to know what are you talking about?
bottom line is, I eat meat.
Yes. Yep.
I eat meat. For
Yep.
most of my meals, I eat meat. And that
Yes.
may be all I eat is
Yes.
meat.
Right.
Now I
And
do have a garden and I do grow food and I do eat what I grow, but mostly I eat meat.
right. So we're talking about the proper human diet. Human beings need to eat meat um, for our for our health, for our minds. I was just saying, like, you talked about putting your type 2 diabetes in remission. Now, we have heard for many, many years that type 2 diabetes is a chronic progressive disease and cannot be cured or it doesn't
Right.
resolve, right? It just keeps progressively getting worse and
Progressively
worse.
getting worse, and
Yes,
eventually you'll be on insulin if you live long
eventually,
enough.
yeah. Eventually, you'll
Uh,
be on insulin and then more and more insulin.
and right,
Um,
and then you'll have complications with that. That's
exactly.
what we're
So,
told, but that's not the case. Um, People are eating the proper human diet, and they're finding that their diabetes is either being cured, eliminated, or put in remission.
right. Exactly.
And they're getting off their medications. I'm not completely off of my medication. I have a doctor's appointment coming up, and we'll see how that goes. But
Mhm.
I'm definitely on reduced dosages.
So many people are I'll call it remission, but are getting rid of their type 2 diabetes. And like you said, if you go back to a standard American diet or a standard awful diet, you will likely your body will begin to react the same way as it did to those carbohydrates and sugars,
Right,
and you would come out of remission. But yes, it can go into remission. It can be cured. Like you will be no longer have a diagnosis of diabetes.
right.
Um,
Yeah,
and
that's
yes,
exactly right. All the markers of diabetes will go away.
right,
Can go away. I'm not saying that they will necessarily, but they can go away. And I mean, and there's more. There's not just diabetes, but my blood pressure went down. My chronic pain is gone. There were
Amazing.
people who went on the cruise with me, and I did eat some things on the cruise that I should not have eaten. And they can tell you, by the last day of the cruise, I I could barely walk. I
Wow.
could barely walk. I couldn't get up without assistance from my husband.
Mm.
And 3 days later, I came home, ate clean. 3 days later, I could get up, no problem. I didn't have to put my hands down to push up off of the
Mhm.
chair. I wasn't looking around to say, "Oh, do I need a cane today?"
It happens very fast.
Right.
That inflammation, it's inflammation that causes all these aches and pains and, joint stiffness and all these kinds of things is that inflammation. So when you reduce your inflammation by being on a proper human diet, then you can move. You can move
Right,
again.
right. You can move, easily move. And it's interesting because I just thought it was part of aging. I just thought it was part of aging. My back, my hips would be stiff, my back would be achy a little bit. I would get up in the morning and that those first 30 minutes or so in the morning where you were, just you stretch before you take your first step because you're not really sure how good your feet are up under you, what your balance is going to be, where the pain is going to hit. I just thought it was part of aging. And now I can get up without thinking about it. I don't have to actually
Yeah.
have to give it a conscious thought about how am I going to get out of this chair.
Mm,
I can just
that's
get up.
amazing.
I can take a step and I can walk without thinking about it. That's honestly, if it hadn't been for the pain going away, I probably would have not stuck with it. Because I mean, you get used to when you get used to, like, you take your pills, your daily pills for the diabetes. It's silent. You don't know what's going on. Your blood pressure, you don't know unless you check it what's going on. The pain is something you deal with on a daily basis. And when the pain goes away, it's like, what? Wait, what? Uh, I mean, it literally, you go, I'm not hurting. Wait,
Hmm.
what? How am I not hurting?
Right.
and,
Right.
and to
Exactly.
be pain free, it's like I've been pain free. I've had maybe 10 days of pain since July
Wow.
versus every single day, maybe 10 days total.
That's
That's,
amazing.
that's totally amazing.
And you said it only took like a couple of how many?
2 weeks
Oh,
for the blood sugar, for my
okay.
fasting blood sugars to be normal. 2
Mhm.
weeks. And for the pain, it was probably about 6 weeks before I noticed. One day I just noticed that I can get up. I can dance today and
Oh my
not be
God.
hurting tomorrow. Because I dance every day. That was my form of exercise. One of my forms of exercise is just dancing. And I would dance, and then the next day I would feel it all over. But I can dance now and I don't feel it all over. I did. Oh yeah. I'm doing the squat challenge. I don't know if you've heard about it. One of the people in the homesteading prepping communities, Bougie Prepper, is doing a 30-day squat challenge for the month of February. And I'm doing a squat challenge. And so yesterday we did 50, but my back's not
Ooh,
hurting and my legs aren't hurting.
amazing.
So yeah,
Amazing.
that part.
Oh my
So,
gosh, you guys. I'm sorry. I have to bring this up. Renee, oh my gosh, thank you so much. So I recently
oh,
activated
members.
memberships on my channel.
Nice.
Thank you so much, Renee. You are my second member, but not only that, Renee, I appreciate you so very much because she also gifted 5 of you. I don't know who the 5 people are,
Oh,
but she
nice.
gave 5 memberships to my channel. Oh my gosh, you're gonna make me cry. Stop it.
That is so cool.
I appreciate that very much, Renee. Thank you so much. There was a comment up here that I wanted to pull up, and I want to get your take on this. It's not magic. So, meat is okay It's how you cook it that matters. What do you think about this one?
Um, I don't know because I am I think that there's okay. See, y'all doing this to me. You're asking me these questions, and I think that is absolutely true in certain instances. For example, um, seed oils. If you're cooking your meat in seed oils, you might have some problems.
Yes.
I don't use seed oils. I don't use soybean oil. I don't use peanut oil. I don't use canola oil, which, okay, rapeseed oil. I don't use. I have an issue
Sunflower
with.
oil.
I have a issue with canola. The whole word
What
canola.
is a canola anyway?
There is no plant called canola. Actually, there is a plant called canola now because they gave the rapeseed the common name
Oh,
of
rapeseed.
canola after they named the oil canola oil. That's crazy.
Okay.
But yeah, if you're cooking your meat in plant oils, you might be defeating the purpose. But otherwise, if you want, however you want to cook your meat, if you want to, boil your meat, boil your meat. If you want to grill it, grill it. If you want to fry it, fry it. You sous vide it, sous vide it. If you want to eat it raw, whatever. As long as it's just meat, it's what happens is what are you putting it in and what are you putting on it can
Right.
be problematic.
Yes,
And
indeed.
it
I
depends
do
on the meat
agree.
you're eating. I'm
Yep.
sorry.
Go ahead.
I was saying it also depends on the meat you're eating. Oh, hey, Buddha. I'm sorry. If I missed anybody saying hello to anybody, I'm sorry. Hey, Andale. Hey,
The
Buddha.
chat's going very fast. I'm trying to keep up.
Right, Brampton, cook it in lard. Use bacon grease a lot
Mhm.
because I eat bacon. Bacon is one of my staples.
Typically, it is for me as well. This month I'm doing lion diet, but
Woo.
most of the time I eat bacon almost every
Almost
single
almost
day.
every day. I eat bacon almost every day. Yeah,
Yes.
and I
Yeah.
I keep bacon grease to cook things in. If I'm gonna cook a steak, if I'm gonna cook it on the stove, in a skillet, I'm gonna use bacon grease. Um,
Yeah. Have you tried beef tallow?
so yes and no. I haven't bought beef tallow, but I do have rendered fat from beef that I have some. I have some in my refrigerator. I use it to make a moisturizer for my skin with, for my
Mhm.
hair with. I use it to cook with. Yeah. So I haven't purchased beef tallow. But like I said, I do have beef fat from, different cuts of meat that I have. Um, One of my favorite cuts of meat is the from Bella Steak and Butter Gal. Likes those flanking ribs.
Oh,
I
those are so
love
good.
those. But they do have a lot of fat in them, and so when that fat renders out, I definitely save that and use it.
Yes.
And
Yes. Yeah, I get
then
some mhm.
I was gonna say I've got like bone broth going today.
Nice.
Um, and so I take the oil off the fat off of that when I make the bone broth. So I save that as well.
Very nice. I love those flanken ribs. Those are so good. I love short ribs in general,
Yeah.
but the flanken ones, I just put that in the air fryer and
I
cook
haven't
it
done it.
for just like I don't know, 10 minutes or something,
I
and
haven't
it
done
comes
them
out
in the
so
air
good.
fryer. I usually stick them
Mm.
in the oven.
Yep. The
I
oven is good too, but the air fryer is so good.
I have
So
a
fast.
ceramic stoneware platter that I cook them on in the
Oh,
oven,
nice. Yes.
and oh, they are just 25 minutes in the oven. I think it's like 325, and
Wow.
they're
Nice.
perfect. They're just perfect.
Yes, yes, indeed. So Cindy's here and she said she subbed. There's a few people that said they subbed to your channel. I didn't bring them, I
Oh,
don't know if I
okay.
brought them all up, but thank you guys for subbing to her channel. We appreciate that so
Thank
much.
you.
There's one comment here. We talked about, striving for perfection, but accept what we can do. So long as we keep trying with the grace of God. After all, just Jesus said we should be perfect. But yeah, so, do you figure that you are a moderator or an abstainer?
Whoa. Okay, most people who are carnivore are not moderators.
Right.
And that's how we got to where we are because we are not moderators. It is, I
Right.
have a, I'm an abstainer. I have a hard time moderating.
Yeah, me
The
too.
thing I love sweets. I grew up in a household where my mom was a baker. She baked bread. Oh my goodness. Every day we had homemade biscuits. At least once a week we had homemade rolls. There was always cake, there was always pie, there was always cookies. My dad loved ice cream. We had the big 5-gallon ice creams in the deep freezer. I grew up with sweets. You had a meal and you had a sweet. You had a meal, you had a sweet. You had dessert. Every day we had dessert. Um, I can't stop. It- If I eat it today, I want it tomorrow. If I eat it, I want it until it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you, we were talking a bit earlier. Um, a few years ago, before I lost the initial 60 pounds, I was diagnosed with a binge eating disorder. Not
Mm-hmm.
not a moderator. Um, that tells you right there, I'm not a moderator. And um, it's funny because I questioned the diagnosis at the time because I mean I went to see a psychiatrist for other reasons. My life was in a shambles, and I needed um, help just to make it through one more day. I to
Mm-hmm.
just keep breathing. It was a mess. Um, and coming out of that with a diagnosis, and I'm like, what the? That's not what I came to see you for, you
Right.
know,
Do your
right?
job.
That's not what I came to see you for. But what it showed me was that I am an all or nothing kind of girl. That's what I am. And I was looking at my life, and if everything is not going well, then everything is going bad, and I'm just a failure, and I'm useless, and a waste of space and a waste of air. And it went downhill
Yep.
really fast.
Mm-hmm.
um and so um that's one of the things that I really had to work on in order to initially, lose the weight. And that's, I mean, I was still in that mindset when I was losing the weight, because it was like, okay, it's real easy to lose weight. You just don't eat. You just don't eat.
Mm-hmm.
Because if food is my drug of choice, then what do in a 12-step program? You go on a 12-step program and you don't eat food. You eliminate that drug, whatever that drug is. Well, okay, so it's not the food, it's the carbs.
Right.
And I can still live and be healthy without the carbs. I couldn't live and
Right.
be healthy without the food, but I can live and be
Right.
healthy without the carbs. There is no recommended daily allowance for carbs.
Absolutely. That's right.
Anytime your body needs,
Shockingly, because even, our
right.
nutrition guidelines, the plate, I think they're calling it
Yeah,
now,
my plate is full of carbs.
it's full of carbs.
It's
But
full of carbs. Yet when your body needs sugar, it'll make it.
right.
That's the one nutrient that your body can actually make.
Mm.
It doesn't make the fat,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't make the protein, but it will make
Mm-hmm.
the sugar. Now,
Interesting.
your body will make fat, but it doesn't make fat like that. You know what I'm saying? Where's the beef?
Interesting. So, Rhonda says, I thought I was a moderator. but I found out I'm an abstainer, especially when it comes to ice cream.
Ooh.
And yeah, I just can't have it. I
Right.
can't even have a little bit of it, like certain things, especially during the holidays. Everybody's making all your favorite dishes and stuff that you love. My mother-in-law makes the best pound cake ever, like the best. So good. Everybody raves about it. She sells them even. They're that good. But I can't have any because I'm not a moderator. And
Wow.
I mean, I found that as you were talking about, yo-yo dieting over the years, me and you are the same because I've done every diet that I
Done
have heard
every diet.
about,
And you know
basically.
what's interesting? I was successful on the Atkins diet. And
Me
the
too.
reason that I quit the Atkins diet is because I was afraid. Um, One, I was afraid to eat the fat.
Yeah.
They've taught us to be afraid of fat. And I'm not afraid to eat the fat anymore. If you don't eat
Right.
the fat, then your hunger doesn't get control. If your hunger is not controlled,
Mhm.
then you're still hungry. So I'm not afraid to eat the fat anymore. Um,
Right.
did you see this comment that Brampton Gardner made about the Canadian Diabetic Exchange?
Oh, wait a minute. See here.
30 grams of
Right
carbs
here.
per meal, and no, 60
Mhm.
grams per meal and 30 for snacks. I went to the diabetic classes
That's crazy.
and they would tell you that you're allowed to have so many grams of carbs per meal and so many for snacks. And then once you add them up and you realize how many carbs you're having per day, you can, mm, yeah.
Yeah. See, if I ate 60 I remember this like that they do give you these food exchanges and stuff with the diabetic diet, that you can have so many carbs and stuff. Well, I think we're really finding out that somebody said this the other day that if you're diabetic, you're allergic to carbs. You should not be
Right.
having carbs.
Right, right,
You're
right.
actually allergic to carbs. It was one of the docs that said that the other day, and it really stuck with me. It resonated with me because
Yeah,
why should you be eating
270
carbs?
grams
Yeah,
of carbs a day is way too many.
that's crazy.
Yeah. Especially, like I said, I don't count my carbs. I just don't eat carb laden foods. I may have a piece of fruit. Like I said, I had strawberries today. I may have
Hmm.
had a quarter cup of strawberries today, which is not that many. But
Right, and it's not strawberry ice cream. So, as you
right,
said,
exactly. And that's it. That's also the limit of my carbs today was that because everything else that I've had today is meat.
hmm
So
hmm
however many that was is how many carbs I had today.
So,
Um,
have you found any mental health benefit? So, you said that you were going to a psychiatrist and you found out that you had this binge eating disorder, but has the carnivore way of eating helped at all with your mental health?
it has. And that's something that I need to really document a little bit better about that because I have seasonal affective disorder.
Mm,
Um, well, I shouldn't say I have seasonal affective disorder. Um, During the wintertime, I my anxiety and depression um, and my mood is very hard to regulate during the wintertime. And part of it, I think, is psychological because I know the days are shorter, but part of it is it's just dark. It's dark, it's rainy, it's cold, and it's depressing.
mhm.
This is probably the best winter that I've had
That's
in
amazing.
20 years. And not only that, I was also going through a period of grief. Um, Coming into winter this year, and my counselor and I were talking about that, and she was like, well, how are you feeling? I said, I'm feeling pretty good. I know this time of year things can get a little dark, and are you doing your light therapy? Yes, I'm doing my light therapy. I have a therapy light. Um and but I'm on, like, it's just, I don't, my I'm looking for the words, Robin. I'm just looking for the words.
Take your
It's
time.
it's personal. It's my life, and putting it out, in the public is I struggle with that. Don't get me wrong. I have a blog. I've written about my depression on my blog, so
Mhm,
it's out
mhm.
there. But I
Yeah.
would say that number one, chronic clinical depression. Um, I had a major depressive episode at some point. I've been in treatment for depression my entire adult life.
Mhm.
I've been on and off medication back and forth. And as of right now, um, I'm on medication, but it's the lowest dose. It's not even a therapeutic dose. My psychiatrist keeps saying, that's not really a therapeutic dose. Um, if you need to up it, it's okay for you to up it, to the therapeutic
Mhm.
level. And I'm like, but I'm feeling pretty good. I'm okay. I'm okay. It's just like, well, if that's working for you and you want to keep it right there, then we'll keep it right there. But I reduced from 50 milligrams to 10. So yeah, just a
I'm
maintenance
having a
level.
little bit of difficulty. You're going in and out again. I'm sorry.
Um, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yep, that's better.
Um,
It's better.
basically, I'm saying that maybe pull the computer a little bit closer to me. Maybe that'll help.
Okay.
And talk a little slower. That will help. I tend to chew up
You
my
are
words,
fine. Yep, you are
but
fine.
yeah.
That's
I
amazing, though. It
I
sounds like
re-
you are having the mental health benefits.
Definitely less
Yeah.
anxiety, less depression. On
Yes.
it. Even like I said, the best winter that I've had in a long time. Um, and I mean there are other reasons for that. I'm not white knuckling it and doing it on my own. I am a firm believer in therapy. um
Yes.
I'm a firm
Say that
believer
again.
in therapy. If you need help, get help. There's help available. Get help. um and you're paying an insurance premium. Use it. you
Right.
know
Absolutely. I mean, it's been such a stigma, particularly in the African American community, and even in like the church community, that,
hmm
it's been a stigma against getting the mental health services that we need. And my
I
daughter
tried
is
to
a
pray it
Christian.
away.
Just talk, it that
Okay,
doesn't
I guess I'm just not a prayer warrior because I can pray it away.
right.
Um,
No.
you know.
No. No.
So
Yeah,
yeah, get
I'm
help.
glad that you did, and that we need to advocate for people to get the help that they need,
Yeah.
instead of suffering in silence when
You
there
don't
is
have to. You
help
don't have to
available.
suffer. And if you get a therapist and it doesn't work out, get another one. And get another one until you find one that works for you, because there's one out there that will work for you. I mean, they're not all, it's just like people. We're not all the same. There's good and bad and everyone. And I may not be the best person for you to call to talk to if you have a problem, but Robin might be. You may
Mhm.
not like my approach to things because I'm going to tell you specifically what to do. First, you do this, then you do this, then you do this, then you do this. If you don't want somebody telling you what to do, I'm not the one to call. I'm not the one, because that's how I do things. Same thing with a therapist. You go to a therapist and you don't click with them, you don't feel it, get a new one. Just get
Right.
another one and
That's
keep
right.
trying until you get one that you can work with.
That's right. Absolutely. So Lori's here and she says that she agrees that therapy is important and someone getting counseling should never be stigmatized.
Right.
100%. Thank you, Lori, for being here. I just have to pop this up. Sandra, thank you so much for becoming a member of my channel. Oh my gosh, you're making me feel emotional. So thank
Great.
you
This
so
is
much.
great.
I appreciate that very, very much. And I have some good things coming up for the channel members. So thank you for joining.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did have one thing highlighted up here, a couple of things. Um, so this is also from Lori. When it comes to carbs and sugar, I'm a total abstainer. I found that the number 0 is my best friends when it comes to carbs and sugar. Same for me. I can't. I've done enough yo-yo dieting over the years to know the slippery slope that I get on whenever I try to, I'll call it cheat. So I was not on keto, I was on Cheeto. And I just kept cheating, and then, so that's how I ended up here, was in finding out that carnivore is really the best way of eating for me. It's the best dietary pattern for me.
Right.
So not everybody doesn't have to go carnivore though.
No, and some people, it may not be the best for you. You have to figure out what that is for you, and you have to decide if you're a moderator. If you're a moderator and you can have moderate amounts of these things, and it doesn't bother you, you can eat these foods and they don't bother you, then that's you. I found that I can't. There are certain
Right.
things that I simply cannot have. I can't have grains. I cannot have grains. I can have a little bit of sweetened things, like I can have, some fruit, but I cannot have red grapes. Red grapes are the devil. Red grapes are the devil. Okay,
Wow.
maybe not, but they're the
Close
devil's,
enough.
but they're the devil's first cousin.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's certain things that I can have. I can have some cantaloupe. I can have some watermelon, but I can't. There's certain things I cannot have, and I know that if I can't have them, and I know what's going to happen. If I have grains, I'm going to have pain. So no pasta for me, no bread for me. I'm going to have pain. Um, this That's just the way it is, and you'll figure it out.
You
Um,
will.
if you look at this as an elimination diet, and you eliminate everything except for the meat, and then once things are stable, you add something back in. You're going to see the result of adding it back in, whether how it's going to affect you,
Right.
because that's just how elimination diets work. And then you'll go, ooh, I mean,
Yeah. So there are a few things that no one should be having. Well, probably a lot of things. So, like the seed oils that you mentioned earlier,
seed
no one should
oils.
be having that. And I know that, like Dr. Berry, Dr. Chafee, all the docs talk about how, from an ancestral perspective, we never ate that. That's not something that we ever consumed in our history. Same thing with
Well,
all the processed foods, right?
yes, yes. And I think when I start thinking about seed oils, I think about um how much of the seed would you have to eat to have that much oil? I mean,
Right.
when you think about a cup of lard or a cup of butter or a cup of tallow, a reasonable person could get a cup of that oil at any point. You know what I'm saying? Through human history, you could get a cup of that. But to get a cup of sunflower seed oil, you're going to have to work really hard to get a cup of sunflower seed oil. So why would you think that it would be okay to cook your meat in that? Um,
I don't know why we thought that. Why we thought that Crisco, vegetable oil, was the thing to cook in. So crazy. So crazy. It makes no sense, but it seemed to make sense back then,
well, it was it was promoted as a product that um that was better than rendered fat.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That was promoted as a product that was better than rendered fat. Don't use lard, use Crisco.
Yeah.
And it's
Right.
like, but I have to go to the store to buy this Crisco thing that's manufactured somewhere by some process. Yet I got lard right here from the pig that I killed last week. I mean, it's a mind game, and it was promoted, and it was a commercial venture. Somebody was making money
A
from
lot
that.
of money.
Right.
Yes. And I was just reading an article today that was talking about, like, I think it was on Homestead House channel. Yes, he did a video today that was really good. I'm going to go back and finish watching it. But like 70% of adult Americans are in the obese category. They're obese.
Mm-hmm.
That is like, this is a time that's never been seen in history before.
In the most technological and the most informational age, we're in the worst health. That doesn't make sense. It just, I mean, make it make sense. It doesn't make sense. We have the technology to treat, infectious diseases. We have the technology to treat our, to have clean water, to have clean
Mhm.
food, da 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 da. But 70%,
That's
whatever the number
crazy.
is, 50%, whatever the number
Right.
is, it doesn't matter. And not only that, it's the kids. It's the kids. Now, I can say that when I was a child, there were some children who were plump.
Mhm.
It was rare to see obese children.
Right.
We played outside, we ran hard, and we didn't eat processed foods.
No.
And the more and more processed foods that we get in a diet, including formula,
Yes. Yep.
which is nothing but corn syrup mostly,
Mhm.
but including the formulas that we're feeding the babies. And now you're seeing kids at age 6 and 7 and 10 who are obese with type 2 diabetes
Yeah.
in kids that are not even teens yet.
Yeah, and it used to be called adult onset diabetes because kids didn't
Right.
get it.
Kids didn't get it.
Yeah.
And now kids are getting it. And so that tells you something about the quality of the food that people are eating. And what are you feeding your kids? If what you're feeding your kids is coming out of a box, read a label and
Right.
see how much of that is actually food.
Right. Probably very little of it.
The
You
first two
know,
ingredients might be food. Actually, the first ingredient might be food. The second ingredient is probably high fructose corn syrup, which is not food.
right. 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 Yeah.
But yeah, the top five ingredients, if you're looking at a food and the top five ingredients are not food, why are you feeding it to your kids?
Right. Well, it's the convenience factor. And I I definitely feel like the word is not out to the public that this is not food. It's a bunch of chemicals, a box of chemicals. I'm walking through the store and seeing all I can see is boxes and rows and rows of chemicals.
Right,
And, it's super scary to me now that I
right,
know.
right.
Once you see it, you can't unsee it, right? But for those who are still in the matrix,
I know. Oh,
they
she
don't
said,
know yet, that
right,
that's not
right.
food and you shouldn't be eating it.
It's it's interesting when I do my gardening videos and when I'm cooking videos. One of the things I always put in is a hashtag eat real food. That's kind of my moniker is hashtag eat real food.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I think of my diet as a limited ingredient diet. If it has more than three ingredients on the label, then I'm probably not going to buy
Right. Right.
it.
That's really
And
good.
those three ingredients need to be food, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
So it's getting so close to our time being up. So, but I really want you to have an opportunity to share with everybody, what are you eating? Like, what do you eat in a day? What do you eat in a week? What's your favorite? You said flank and ribs are one of your
I
top.
love the flanking beef flanking ribs. It's one of my tops. Probably my favorite is most people's favorite is the ribeye.
Yeah.
When it comes to steak, I actually like a porterhouse better than a ribeye, but I will eat a ribeye all day, every day if I
Right.
can afford it. I eat bacon. I eat pork belly. Um, I eat almost all. I shouldn't say most meats I eat. I don't eat a lot of seafood. I do eat shrimp. I like fish, but I grew up on the coast and I'm really iffy about fish. It's got to be really fresh.
Yeah.
So not a big fish eater, but I like my one of my things to have for breakfast is bone broth with egg yolks. And I've made a video of that. I'll do a 12-ounce cup of bone broth with 3 egg yolks in it, and that's a lovely breakfast. And
Mhm.
butter. Don't forget the butter.
Okay.
I eat butter probably every day. I eat eggs. So that's pretty much what I eat. Lately I've been enjoying apples, which a lot of people don't eat fruit, but I will eat an apple on occasion, or if it's when it was in season. But we're getting to the end of the apples tasting good, you know.
Right.
So I'm
Yes.
going to put those down. Strawberries are coming up soon. So I will eat strawberries. I'll
Yeah.
eat fruit that's in season where I am.
Mhm.
I don't
Yep.
particularly want fruit from another country or that's been shipped, a long ways. So, but I don't eat more than one serving a day of fruit,
Okay.
and sometimes not even that much.
Thanks for sharing that.
But
All
yeah,
right.
no added sugar, no grains, no seed oils, um, and none of the starchy vegetables.
No
Uh,
search.
yeah, no starchy vegetables.
Awesome. 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 I'm going to share your channel here. Let's take a look at that. And just want to have you talk a little bit about what is it that you're doing on your channel. You talked about this at the beginning, but we'll have for those of us who have arrived since you spoke about that. Can you just tell us a little bit about your channel?
Okay, so mostly my channel is just me sharing my life and how I cope with the day to day living. Life throws a lot at you, and different people have different strategies for coping, and I do. I share those things with you. And those strategies for me include gardening, crafting, arts and crafts, writing, and cooking. So you'll see things that I've made, things that I've worked on, things that I've made. You'll see me in the garden, indoor and outdoor gardening. I do garden to table, so I'll do recipes of things that I've grown in the garden, and I cook them and I prepare the meals.
Nice.
That's pretty much what I do. I'm part of the gardening community, part of the prepper community, um,
Nice.
part of the homesteading community. So yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm going to be having on Laura Russell at Healthy Carnivore, who's a prepper, and she's going to talk about, what happens when the zombie apocalypse hits. How do we get ready? So,
Yeah,
basic prepping. So, yes,
yeah.
that's awesome.
But yeah, you'll
Yeah,
see some art over there. You'll see some crocheting and knitting over
yeah.
there, and you'll see some gardening over there. Just,
What is this?
uh, that is jelly melon.
Oh,
It's called a jelly melon. It's in the cucumber family. It kind of tastes like a cucumber. I will not grow them again. But they
okay.
were fun to grow. They were very prolific. They produce a lot of fruit, and they do taste like cucumbers.
Nice.
But they're spiky. They have spikes on them. It's
Mm.
every
I'm
now and then,
gonna show you.
every year, I just kind of grow some things.
Yes, yes. Very nice. Like I said, I checked out your channel and I love what you're doing over there. So I'm definitely gonna be following. I subscribed. If you haven't already subscribed to Felicia's channel, please take an opportunity to do that. And what you're doing over there is really, really good. So thank you so much. And
Oh yeah, and water. I forgot that.
oh, water.
Water.
Yeah,
I
most
drink
definitely.
I drink water all day, every day.
So we are out of time. I can't believe it. This hour went so very fast, Felicia, but I appreciate you so much. Like I said, you were one of the really kind people that reached out to me early when I was first starting my channel.
She was like, "Where y'all at?" I'm like, "I'm here." Hey.
I was trying to find you, and you came and told me that you were there, and I was very thankful for that. So thank you for coming on. Can't appreciate that enough.
You are
Do
so
you have
welcome.
anything on your heart that you would like to share?
I just want to say thank you to all the people who came in to watch the video and anybody who comes for the replay. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Very much.
And
Very
thank you
much.
for this opportunity.
Yes, thank you so much, Felicia.
All right.
So, if you are interested in being a guest on Carnivorous Grandma Speaks, I'm looking for you, and I want you to come on and tell your story. So, I put my email down here in the scroll bar so you guys can see it's robin.heron@hotmail.com. Email me, and I would love to have you on Carnivorous Grandma Speaks. Once again, we thank you so much for being a part of this wonderful interview. Thank you again, Felicia. And we want to say, everybody, have a great night, and we will see you next time. Bye,
Bye.
everybody.